there's a ber halacha. It said over here that the primary opinion is that a koton, although hadlokas neris Chanukah is drabanan, a minor cannot be motzi an adult. Meaning, but the Ramos says if that's only, according to Chab speaks, because they lit one set of candles for the household. But today that everybody lights his own, it's not a problem. The koton lights his own, and everybody lights their own. But he had said, Mishna Berura, in terms of chinuch, you only have to provide one candle for the child, for chinuch. One doesn't have to provide the mahadrim and the mahadrim, the additional candles per night. The adult, you do mahadrim and the mahadrim. But for the child, in terms of the father's obligation of chinuch, he doesn't have to provide more than one candle per night. Okay? So he says, Uber alocha, Udidan kol echod. I Mishna Berura Vayakhel Kam Sivin Tov Reishayin Zayim Mogen Avrom Sivkot Ches Dehevi V'Shulti Giborim the Sfira Lei Dafil Lidan Shmadlika Ner L'Kol Echad Ve'echod. He says, even according to us, that everybody lights their own set of candles. Tana P'turin D'Nida Mechuyev L'Chantcho. Here, he says, although a father has an obligation to be mechanech, to train the child to do the mitzvah as a child, Hainu B'Dov V'Shish Bo Chiyav Hala Godel Mitzad Hadin. That's only in an area where the adult, as an adult, you have an obligation. But over here that it's hidur mitzvah. In hidur mitzvah there's no obligation, because hidur mitzvah is like, that's an enhancement. That we light a candle per individual, which is mahadrin, right? Mahadrin is everybody lights one candle per house. That's the base mitzvah per family. Each person lights a candle, each individual, that's mahadrin. Mahadrin is that each person lights a candle, plus we add per night. So even more than one candle per household, that's mahadrin. So the Miri brings from the Miri, a father has no chiyuv, no obligation to train a child in hidur. He says only according to the number of the adults. The Miri says he doesn't say, but if a child is higil lechinuch, is old enough that you have to start training him to do the mitzvah, why only b'nei beiso hagdolim? So you see from the Miri, says that machzah shekel is a commentary on the Mogen Avram, that he wants to equate the Shilti Giborim, that he concurs with the Ramah, who dochu gadol. Ubemes mashem Mogen Avram hevi shom dover zeh mishum tkos betchilo das hamachaber meir al korcho sheish lo bayis b'fnei atzmo misayim de'efshel afil lidan chayiv el sheish lo bayis b'fnei atzmo. Okay, but it comes out, it's an eye opener that the chiyuv chinuch is only on the base mitzvah. So let's say there's a question: buy your child a menorah. You can buy him a tin menorah or a silver menorah. He says, well, I want to train him in hidur mitzvah. You have no chiyuv. Silver, I mean, before there are those who say that if you buy you can afford a silver menorah, it's better to have a silver menorah, because that's hidur mitzvah. You're enhancing the mitzvah. For a child, you don't have to provide that. You don't have to provide that, because that's hidur. Anything which is enhancement, one has no obligation. You know, as they say, you know, in two things. There was somebody, Rebbe Chonan Wasserman, Zechat Tzarech Levrocha, was the closest Talmud of the Chofetz Chaim. So, and he was very close with his Rebbe. He considered him his Rebbe. So he once asked the Chofetz Chaim, and only a person like him could ask the Chofetz Chaim such a question. So he once asked the Chofetz Chaim, he says, does the Rebbe have Ruach HaKodesh? That's the way he expressed it. Does the Rebbe have Ruach HaKodesh? Is he divinely inspired? Factually, he was. There's no question. Chofetz Chaim had Ruach HaKodesh. So the Chofetz Chaim says in Yiddish, he says, he says, I'm not sure if I have Ruach HaKodesh, but a fool I'm not. Because the Chofetz Chaim was so practical, and he saw things so clearly, just being sensible. A fool I'm not. Understand? That was the Chofetz Chaim's response. So what I'm saying is, let's say it says you have to, when your child gets old enough to purchase a pair of tzitzis, Let's say you buy him a pair of tzitzis, which is shabby, inferior quality, and because that the child is actually has no interest. And the only way you can interest your child is buying something more attractive. That's seichel. Forget about chinuch. That's just having common sense. You do things you want to make it that should be attractive to the child. But if something the child's going to be ashamed by doing the mitzvah, of course, then you're foolish. You're doing the wrong thing. So we're not talking about your obligation of chinuch. You're raising a child. You raise a child to be sensible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it's more schwer. They would groan and moan. So if a child hears you groaning and moaning, so what? Exactly, he's not going to be enamored with Yiddishkeit. But again, we're talking about the hitter aspect. When the Chachomim obligate a parent of training and educating a child, it's not in the hitter aspect of the mitzvah, it's only the base mitzvah. That's what we're saying. No, it's not an obligation. No, because you maybe should train your child. Because as an adult, about hitter too, you should train the child. So he says no. The Chachomim, the obligation of chinuch is rabbinical. They only obligated the father to train to do the actual mitzvah itself. But to train him, because it's a question of it's an outlay of greater amount of money. It's a greater expenditure. They never obligated the father in that. No.
If you train the child in Hebrew, he wouldn't even know that's Hebrew. He would think this is the way it has to be done.
That's not a problem. It's not a problem. Okay, let's see the next halacha. Could be. He didn't say tchelis, right? Okay. Seder habrachos v'hadloka. What is the order of the brachos and how one lights? This is from right to left, left to right, and what's the order of brachos? Hamadlik, Baleel, Rishon, Mevorach Shalish brachos. One lights in the first night, one says 3 brachos. What are the 3 brachos? Lahadlik, Ner Chanukah. We say Lahadlik, Ner Shel Chanukah. Correct? This is the Mechaber. This is the Sephardic text. She'osin Nisim, Shechionu, V'lo Berach Zman Baleel Rishon. What happens if, for whatever reason, he forgot to say Shechionu the first night? V'vorech Baleel Sheni, Och Sheyizkar. As long as it's Chanukah, until the 8th day, he's able to say Shechionu, because he hasn't said Shechionu on the Yom Tov. The same is true with Gemara. By Sukkos, person says Shechionu the first night. If he didn't say Shechionu the first night, you say Shechionu through the 7th day, because the 8th day, Shmini Atzeres, you have to say Shechionu again, because the Gemara says it's a separate holiday, it's a separate Yom Tov, Shechionu. It's Chag B'fnei Atzmo. Lahadlik, Ner Shel Chanukah, Mora Cholaposkim Isa Ner Shel Chanukah. It's interesting. The Hasidim, I wouldn't know this, but I only know because when they light in Shul, they say Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. I'm not sure all Hasidim, but in the Shul, which I have Mariv, that's the nusach they say. They say Lahadlik Ner Chanukah. But he says, Cholaposkim Isa Ner Shel Chanukah. Chen Kosim Marshal, Ach Kosim Shioma Shel Chanukah, B'mila Achas. You say Shel Chanukah. Okay, we don't do it this way. Lo Shel Chanukah Shtei Milos. Marshal says you should say Shel Chanukah, but it should be pronounced as if it's one word. V'olam Einogi and Lahakbid Bozeh. Krumgam says we don't conduct it so as the Marshal. We say Shel Chanukah. Bizman Hazeh, we say Bazman Hazeh. V'lo Uvazman. There's no vav. And Vigionu Lazman Hazeh. Halamid B'chiruk V'lo B'patoch. It's Lizman. It's not Lazman. Right? Do you say Lazman or Lizman? It's Lizman. I know. Take a look in the Siddur. Yor lazman hazeh. You say lazman hazeh. Yeah, yeah. Yor lizman hazeh v'lo lam bechiruk v'lo b'patoch. Okay. Basma. We say basman. No, the conclusion. Lizman. Is it lazman or lizman? Lazman. Okay. Surprising. It's interesting. The most people when they put on their tzitzis, you say l'sateif bat tzitzis. Mishna Berura says you say l'sateif bit tzitzis. No, I'm just saying he says there. That's the way you should say. Although most people in the Siddur says l'sateif bat tzitzis, he says bit tzitzis. It's interesting. I normally don't learn Rav Avad Yosef's Svarim, but on my phone I have, sometimes I have a few minutes, I'm sitting there. I download, I have, it's called Yalkut Yosef. So over there, or Chaim, or different things. So there he says, regarding the Nusach HaBrocho, he says you say L'sateif bitzitzis, not batzitzis. In the Mishna Berura is Ashkenaz, but he says the same thing. Also in Baruch Shemar, in the different nuschos, you say P or Peh over there also. There's a question. If you want me to consider. Befeh or befi. Befi amo, yeah. Yeah. Okel harachmet hamalol befeh. Amo. There's a question if it's befeh. Some people say befi amo. No, if the art scroll says befeh with a hey. And the Mishna Berura says the correct way is to say it with a hey, not with a yud. Befe'amo, not befe'amo. Okay. What? You say befi or befe? Most people say befi. Befi, but the Mishna Berura and the art scroll. No. But I'm saying the art scroll has befe. That's because that's according to Mishna Berura. But it's interesting, if you take a look, years ago, all Siddurim were printed, they were printed in the United States. They didn't bring Siddurim unless a person brought it from Europe. So when the Siddurim were printed published by the Hebrew Publishing Company. So who put it together? I'm not sure. But I know the way I say Shemon Esrei, there's certain words I insert, which today in Nusach Ashkenaz, the art scroll prints, those extra words are there. Nusach Svard has very often extra words, like no. Right? Rein nov onyenu. Right? Rein nov onyenu. That's really Nusach Svard. But when I grew up in the there was a city called Tikkun Meir. Sure, in the Hebrew Day School in Detroit, Tikkun Meir Sidurim. In that city, Nusach Ashkenaz, it said Rein nov onyenu. Today, in the Ashkenaz city, you look up in it doesn't say no. The no is not there. Or Rachim no in Birchas Hamazon. Rachim no, the paragraph. Ashkenaz doesn't have today. It's printed. It's in parentheses, minimally. It's parentheses because if you're Nusach Svard, you say no. But till today, I still say no because that's the way I grew up. Ashkenaz says no, but factually, in the origin, in the original Nusach Ashkenaz, doesn't have the no. Okay. Goshem, that promotion. No, that was always Nusach Ashkenaz. Somebody once asked. Rebel Yoshef, should he say Geshem or Goshem? He says, you should say it the way Yezeda said it. That's what he said. The way Yezeda, he said Goshem, you say Goshem. Also today, a lot of people they were raised with Goshem, the Rosh Hashiva said Goshem, they say Geshem. Mashum Morda Geshem. Okay? Somebody asked Rebel Yoshef, he saw recently, the Sefer was printed. Many years ago, we say modani. Modeh is masculine, not feminine. So somebody asked Rebbe Yoshev, a woman, a girl, they should say moda with a comments. Modani, not modeani. Deh, segel is masculine. Comments is feminine. That's what somebody asked Rebbe Yoshev. You're asking the Posek Hador. He says, Zogas Azevi the Baba to Zogt. The Baba said Moded, didn't say Modo. And that's the way it is. Okay, but I'm just telling what Rabbi Yosef. Okay?
The big city for the Yom has Shosanic in somewhere. That's why I don't know who that is.
No, okay.
They took
You know, Rabbi Vad Yosef, hello. Rabbi Vad Yosef says that a woman should not say Shosani Kiritzona. She doesn't say Shlos Harisha, but she doesn't say that either. Why? He says there is no source in Shas or anywhere for that the text of that bracha. There's no, and he says brachas. The origin is Anshe Knesset Agdola, and any bracha which was not authored or legislated by them should not be said. So he gave an order in all Sephardic Beis Yaakovs. They should, the girls and the women should not say that bracha. Shlos Ani Kiritzona. But Ashkenaz women, they do say Shlos Ani Kiritzona. So it's a question where it came from. That's what he says. The Moshe says there was a question. Somebody asked a person davens Nusach Ashkenaz. Could he switch from Ashkenaz to Nusach Sfard? That was the question asked to Rav Moshe. Comes up, person, let's say at home davens, let's say Nusach Sfard, goes away to a yeshiva. Most yeshivas outside of Torah V'das and Hasidic yeshivas, it's Nusach Ashkenaz, not Nusach Sfard. So somebody asked Rav Moshe, you daven Sfard, Nusach Sfard, could you daven Nusach Ashkenaz? So Rav Moshe said, not even a question. He says, what about the other way? From Nusach Ashkenaz to go to, he says that you can't do. Why? He explained why. He says, the majority of Klal Yisrael are Ashkenazim, not Sephardim. So therefore, that's our Masorah. He says, where Nusach Sfard came from, Nusach Sfard. Not Sfardi. Sfardi, that's their Masorah. Sephardim have their Masorah. But Ashkenazim should not have the Masorah of Ashkenaz. He says he doesn't even know where it came from. There's no about a man who knows everything, within everything. He says he doesn't know where it came up from. It started in times of, the Hasidim. When the Hasidic movement started, they changed it. They took things from Sfardi, and they intermingled it in Nusach Ashkenaz. But he says that's not the authentic Nusach Ashkenaz. Therefore, if you want to go from Nusach Sfard to Ashkenaz, not even the question. From Nusach Ashkenaz to Sfard, he's definitely not permitted to do it. If your meaning is Nusach Sfard, you could keep it. But to change from Ashkenaz to Sfard, he says definitely not. That's Rav Moshe Feinstein. Not at something else. That's pronunciation. We're talking about text. The text, the words we're talking about. Yeah, it's also not so simple. Not simple. The Chazon Ish held, I daven next door. It's a Hasidic yeshiva. So the pronunciation is not the way I pronounce it. So we'll come to parshas Zohar. I can't be Yotzi with them. It's not my pronunciation. That's the way they pronounce it. What they rely on, okay, they rely on whatever they rely on. But it's not my pronunciation. So I wasn't Yotzi with their Kriyas Parshas Zohar. We had to have a separate Kriya with a Balkori who pronounces it like I pronounce it. No, not the Zay. The vowels are pronounced differently. They say the U and the E. It's a total different pronunciation. There's no such thing as who. Every who is he. It's a komatz is not it's a u. It's a whole different pronunciation. So I'm not Yotzei. Or so the Chazon Ish said, but in Israel in those years, even in Eretz Yisrael in those years, even a person was a Hasidic Jew, his pronunciation, when he spoke Yiddish like a Chassid. But when even that, not so simple. When he davened, it was like a non-Chassid. He didn't say Sfard. It wasn't Sfardik. It wasn't Sfard. The pronunciation was like an Ashkenaz person. But then, so the question is, could a person go to a Sfardi shul to be Yotzei Kriyas Megillah? That was the question asked to Chazon Ish. He says you have to go to an Ashkenazi. You have to have the Ashkenazi reading. You can't have a Sfardi reading. It's not our Masorah. That pronunciation to be Yotzei. No, Not so much tough in that, but a kometz and a patach is an issue. That's an issue. Patach and it's not definitely tough and soft makes no difference. Right, it's the same meaning. But a patach and a kometz, so he said you should not go to a Sephardic minyan for that reason, to be yotze in a Sephardic shul.
When we go to the Sephardic, when you say Sephardic, they say an extra.
Yeah, that's okay.
But that's what we talk, the Nusach Sfard.
Yeah, that's Nusach Sfard.
Ashkenazim, we govern that way.
No, because that's Nusach Sfard. It's not Sfardim. There's Nusach Sfardi, and there's Nusach Sfard.
That's wrong. Nusach Sfard.
Nusach Sfard says V'yaspa Pekudei. Yeah, sure.
So where does that come from?
That's what Moshe said. He doesn't know the origin of that. That was introduced later. At the time of the Hasidic movement, they introduced that. Meaning they intermingled two Masoras, which it's not part of the Ashkenazi Masorah. That's fine. No, but all the Rebbes, no. You know, all the real Hasidic Rebbes, they're all Kabbalists. They studied the Zohar and Kabbalists. All that. So therefore, as a result of that, that's why they had all these additions. Yes, he wasn't Sephardic by birth, but he conducted totally like a Sephardi. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, sure. Let's say we rule, like, according to the Rosh, you don't have to have Shmi Mishas Ktsira. Mechaber brings the Rosh. The Rambam says it should be Mishas Ktsira. So a person goes and spends extra money and buys it, Mishas Ktsira, that's Tzira Mitzvah. No, well, you have no obligation to your guest. But to your child, you give matzah according to the Rosh, right? That's enough. You don't, because it's chinuch. To do more than that, that's hidur mitzvah. So would you be better to give it to the guest? Definitely. So you'd be obligated to give them 100 to the guest, rather than would be a question of almost like a revus. The adult has a Torah obligation. Right. The child is only chinuch. How would you matzah would be rabbinic? What, for an adult? No, it's a doraisa. Matzah the same as a doraisa. Okay,